Nation. Never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. Yeah, man. I did another story on Fresh Out about the 11 inmates who escaped from the Louisiana jail facility. And jail facility. And one of the guys that escaped, as soon as he got out, he went to the homies and did an IG live video. And it wasn't a day later. I say within hours, they snatched his ass up.
Yeah, and I'm about to go with a 2.
Yeah.
Get up with me.
Alright. You fresh out, huh?
Fresh out of jail. Stop playing.
What? Yeah.
A few moments later.
So, some people are about as smart as a box of rocks, man. And I'm not trying to bash these guys, but they're now going to be in solitary confinement, and they're all most likely going to Angola. The other guy, they caught him at the house, snatched his ass up. Another one of the escaped inmates, they found him sleeping at a bus stop.
I'm but sleep. Let me leave this man up. But you alright? Straight?
Out of jail and did his time and maybe got his GED and tried to figure it out. You know, some people make the best out of their jail time. If you're lost and you're just going through life making spontaneous decisions and you're not really conscious of your actions because you're on autopilot, you're kind of just going with the wind. Jail sitting you down for a little while might help you figure some things out and reflect. I'm guilty of that. I was doing a lot of things impulsively, not thinking them through, not weighing my options out. So I had to go sit my ass down. But what I did with that time was really take a deep dive into who I am and what my purpose was and how I got there. A lot of people don't do that. They go to jail, they party, they drink, they watch sports, they play sports, they gamble, they mess with homosexuals. They just do a lot of things that have no relevance on building themselves to be a better person. And jail, yeah, is punishment for a crime. It can be rehabilitation if you choose to rehabilitate yourself. But at the end of the day, it's obvious that if you've been separated from society and you did something you know in your heart is wrong, then you have some choices you got to make. And these guys, even while they were locked up, impulsively, you see somebody run and leave somewhere, and you decide to leave too, that might not be the wisest thing. And people think, oh man, I'm gonna escape jail. Well, do you have resources? The people who really do escapes and get away with stuff, these are guys who are cartel, maybe big time mafia guys, people who have a lot of money, a lot of resources, and they already have identity set up, passports, money, all these different things. These guys don't have anything. You're just running amok, running amok, man. And to follow other guys running amok and to just go along with something because you see an opportunity is not very smart. I was at a juvenile facility in my younger days when I was around 15, and at this facility, it was like kind of out in the middle of the country, but you could leave if you really wanted to. You could have somebody meet you off the street and the roadway, and they could drive you, and you can escape. Now, if you escaped, you would basically be sent to California Youth Authority, and you would be sentenced to whatever time, but you could be maxed out to the time you were, I think it was 25, 24, 25. But while I was there, I don't think we had any escapes there, but people previously had left. There have been guys who had left there, and they just became basically a lot of them career criminals. You know, if you don't reflect and take the time to look at what you've done, and from looking at a lot of these videos, especially with a lot of these young people, man, you guys are getting played, man. You're buying into, and I know you want to fit in with the homies. I wanted to do the same thing, and I wish somebody would have sat me down and been like, look, man, I've been there and done that. And sometimes you don't listen to people because they're not dressed like you. They're not on the block. They're not, wearing a gold chain. They're not blowing the blunt. They're not talking a certain way. So you think they have no credibility in their knowledge. But you'd be surprised, man, what a lot of these older cats have as far as game. And some of you older cats, man, you got to really take the time to go and share with these young people and try to help some of them, man. Not all of them can be helped, but there's a few out there who can be helped, man. And we're living in a lost society right now. These young men, um, especially a lot of these young black men, they're just throwing their lives away, man. And you have single moms out there working multiple jobs, a lot of them, fathers who are not in the home, and just no structure, no discipline, and everything now is built based on clout and who sees you and how many followers you have, how many subscribers you have, and how cool you are. I mean, we want to be cool too, but it was just cool within the local area. You couldn't really reach beyond your area unless somehow you were, a media person that was on major TV back then. There was no social media, so you were just known in your neighborhood, and maybe you had a reputation that would go into other high schools if you were an athlete. But other than that, you didn't have, any desire to take pictures with guns or money or stuff like that. People didn't do that because you didn't post it nowhere. Nobody I knew ever took a picture with a bunch of money. That would get you robbed or killed. And there were a couple of people who got robbed and killed because people heard they had money and they tried to rob and kill them. So it was very dangerous. But you guys today, with the money, talking to the money and flossing and stuff like that. I mean, people had nice things. I mean, there were some ballers back in the 80s, but they weren't uh, putting their business out there to the point where now you got people who can track your location and follow you and do all these different things, man. It wasn't like that. And with technology, you guys running around thinking you're getting away with something, you're not getting away with shit. Ring camera, just traffic cams, all these different cameras, security cameras on the sides of buildings. Those things are there, and then if a crime is committed, all they got to do is go back and look at the tapes. And a lot of you guys got cars that got tracking devices in them and don't know it. So I just think it was a bad move on a lot of these guys. Probably some of them weren't looking at that much time, but now they're going to get an escape. Uh, evading law enforcement. They're going to stack the charges on them. And one thing's for sure, most of these guys, I bet you, have never read a Black's Law Dictionary. They don't know anything about their rights. They don't have much education. And so when they go to court to get represented, they're going to get thrown under the bus. These guys who are prosecuting these young men, it's like going to an elementary school and playing kickball, and every time you kick the ball, it goes over the fence. That's what this is an equivalent to. So it's just it's pretty. I mean, on the guys who got caught, it's embarrassing. The family members who or who are connected to these guys, I know they're looking like, maybe you only had a year, now you got 10 years. I mean, it's just bad all the way around the board. I mean, it sounds like a good idea to say, hey, let's escape, but without resources, without a plan, it's basically a bad plan. And you're looking over your shoulder anyways, for the rest of your life because you're a fugitive. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, if you are doing time or you have time to sit back and reflect, really do some soul searching and figure out why you're on the path you're on. And maybe that will help you figure some shit out, man. I just really started getting back into my art and being creative, and a lot of the things I used to do as a kid. And if I would have stayed with that stuff and had somebody really pushing me, not just, oh, that's cute, that's, I like that. If somebody really would have been behind me, like really, saying, hey, man, this is something you can make a living at. Because there's people making a living. There's people that are millionaires from creativity, man. People who are artistic, people who make money doing this stuff. I would have been cool. I probably would have never went to prison, man. I would have maybe went to art school, fashion school, design school, being an architect. Who knows? But a lot of you guys have hidden talents, and I know it's hard for you to see those talents until you are forced to try to, tap into those talents, maybe through somebody in jail, which is the worst place to find them. I mean, at least you find them. But I mean, if you could find those talents on the streets, even better, man. But parents, man, you got to try to help these kids, man. Hopefully get them around some good mentors, and show these kids a more positive light. Because a lot of these young men, you guys, man, you ain't gonna be doing nothing but bunking in these prisons, man, and working slave labor conditions. And, for you guys who don't know, Louisiana, man, they still got the chain gang. They got the correctional officers on the horses. It's like back in slavery days, man. That shit look like Django. It's horrible, man. And you're out there hot, working, slaving for peanuts. And that's what these guys are going to be doing, man. And, it is what it is. You commit a crime, you got to do the time. That's the bottom line. You make a mistake, you got to pay for that mistake. But there's got to be better choices made with these young people out there. And this is a perfect example of all these guys that's crashing out. I don't know how many of the guys they caught already, but they caught quite a few of them. And it's not like they're gonna stop looking for them. All these guys, unless they left the state or the country, they're gonna get caught here within the next week or so. Maybe one guy might get away for a little while, but even in Mexico, they're catching fugitives out there and sending them right back. So yeah, man. Lesson learned. Sometimes what appears to be a good idea could be a bad plan. BigHerc916. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share it.
The popos are coming. I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh,
BigHerc916, and I would like to introduce you to Little Herc's Big Lessons. My wife and I decided to come out with a children's book series that encourages young children to be strong, to make good choices, and also teach valuable lessons. Lesson 2, speak with strength. At school, Little Herc's classmate Maria looked upset. The bigger kids were teasing her about her artwork. Hey, Little Herc said, stepping forward. Maria's art is awesome. Let's show some respect. The bigger kids shuffled their feet and walked away. Maria smiled at Little Herc. Thanks, Herc. You're always brave enough to stand up for what's right. Little Herc felt proud. Speaking up is what strong people do. You can pick up the book, link in the description, share it with your
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.